If you have ever tried to grow a goat farm, you will understand one big challenge: goats take time. In Nigeria, goat farming is very profitable in the long run. Goats are always in demand. People buy them for meat, for celebrations, for festivals, and for many traditional events. So the market is strong. But the problem is that goats multiply slowly. A goat pregnancy takes about 5 months, and most times you may only get 1 or 2 kids. After that, you still need several months before those kids grow enough to sell or reproduce. So if you are trying to expand your farm using only goats, the growth can be very slow. And that is exactly why I started thinking differently about how to grow my goat farm. My strategy now is to use rabbit farming to develop the goat farm. Rabbits multiply much faster than goats. A rabbit's pregnancy lasts only about 30 days. Just 1 month. And when they give birth, they can have 5, 6, 7, sometimes even more babies at once. Because of that fast cycle, rabbits can produce animals to sell much more frequently. So instead of waiting months and months for goats to reproduce, rabbits can bring income regularly. The idea is simple. The rabbits will act like the engine of the farm, generating small but frequent income. And that income can then be used to grow the goat side of the farm. Every time rabbits produce and I sell some, that money can go back into the farm either by buying more goats, improving housing, or covering feeding and healthcare. Over time, this helps the goat farm grow faster than relying on goats alone. Now let's talk about the goat breeding strategy itself. When goats give birth, not all the kids will stay on the farm. The plan is to sell most of the male kids at around 6 or 7 months old. Male goats grow well for meat, and there is usually demand in the market. Instead of keeping too many males, it is better to convert them into income. But the female kids are different. The female kids are the future of the farm. Those are the ones that will grow and eventually produce more goats. So the strategy is simple: sell the males, keep the females. By doing this consistently, the number of breeding females in the farm will keep increasing. And if things go well, the target is to have about 12 breeding does by the end of the year. Once you reach that level, the farm begins to grow much faster, because multiple goats will be producing kids every year. But there is another important lesson I learned the hard way. In the past, I lost many goats to illness. Those losses were painful, and they slowed down the progress of the farm. In fact, because of those losses, I can honestly say I have not made the kind of gain I expected from goat farming yet. So one of the biggest priorities now is responding to illness very quickly. When a goat starts showing signs of sickness, maybe it stops eating, becomes weak, or behaves differently, that is not something to ignore. Quick action can save the animal. Waiting too long can mean losing the goat. So going forward, I will focus more on early detection, quick treatment, and proper monitoring of the animals. Prevention is also very important. Clean housing, good feeding, fresh water, and regular observation will help reduce disease problems. The goal now is simple: prevent deaths as much as possible. Another part of the plan is slowly adding more goats from outside. From my other side hustles, whenever I have extra money, I may buy another goat to add to the farm. But this time I will be much more careful about how I integrate new goats. In the past, I made some mistakes that cost me animals. One example is ear tagging. I used ear tags before, and it caused problems for the goats. Because of that experience, I have decided that I will not be using ear tags again. Also, when bringing a new goat into the farm, it will not mix with the rest of the herd immediately. The goat needs to be observed first to make sure it is healthy before joining the others. This helps reduce the risk of introducing diseases to the farm. So when you put everything together, the strategy becomes very clear. Use rabbits because they multiply quickly. Sell rabbits regularly to generate income. Use that income to strengthen and expand the goat farm. Sell most male goat kids at 6 or 7 months. Keep the female kids to increase the number of breeding does. Respond quickly to illness and focus heavily on preventing animal deaths. And when bringing in new goats, integrate them carefully and avoid past mistakes. If this system works well, the rabbits will help drive the growth of the farm, and over time the goat herd will become larger, stronger, and more profitable. That is the long-term vision for the farm.